All right, here we are with our beautiful pile of Pop-Tarts, and just a few things to start off real quick. I have tried every single one of these flavors, and each box comes with 4 Pop-Tarts, except for this big box, obviously. I have eaten them all down to 1 package just for this video, except for the unfrosted strawberry, because we all know that unfrosted Pop-Tarts are garbage. The second note also has to do with unfrosted Pop-Tarts. There are 2 different kinds of unfrosted Pop-Tarts that I don't have. I didn't get them because we all know where they're gonna go. So we're gonna try one kind and that's gonna be it. I'm sorry to any of you who have just been egregiously offended. I piled these up in a random order, so I'm just gonna start picking, and we're gonna start off with the chocolatey chip pancake flavor. So when we open this up, this looks pretty good. There's not too much crust on either side, a little bit much on the top, but not a huge deal. Each one we're gonna have a taste of the crust and the frosted portion. So let's try this crust. It's pretty good. We get a nice little hint of the actual flavor that's going on there. Let's try the frosted section. Well, it doesn't taste anything like a pancake, but it is really good. It's got a little hint of the brown sugar cinnamon in there. I think it was probably just a twist on that flavor. And I think we're starting off pretty strong. I am going to put this one in B tier. We may change that later on. I'm stuck between A and B. It is pretty darn good. Next up, unfortunately, we're gonna get into the abominations, the only unopened box of this entire pile. This is unfrosted strawberry. All right, of course, as soon as you open it, you're met with the disappointment that there's no frosting on it. It's very bland, very plain. Let's try some of the crust. Yeah, you don't even get a hint of the strawberry with that. Really bland crust. We'll try the filling portion. So it leads up with a taste of cardboard because you don't have any frosting on there. It's very bland, but you do get that aftertaste of the strawberry, which is such a nice filling, and they've just ruined it. So I think we're all in agreement. We know where this one's going. This one is going straight into F tier. There is unfrosted blueberry, straight into F tier, and unfrosted brown sugar cinnamon. Just because it's brown sugar cinnamon, we'll do D tier. We'll cut that one a little break. Next up, we're gonna do chocolate fudge, and unfortunately the store only had a big container of it, so I had to buy a big container. And if you wanna know what it's like to be walking through a store with a grocery cart full of different Pop-Tart flavors, it's extremely awkward. Wouldn't recommend it, not gonna do it again. All right, this one's very nice. It's got frosting up on the top and the bottom. Love when that happens because I like to work my way around the crust and eat that first and then do the filling. It's the only way to eat a Pop-Tart properly. Very thin crust, perfect. So we'll go ahead and try some of this crust. The chocolate flavored crust is really nice. You definitely get a nice hint of the fudge filling in there. Really like that. Try some of this filling. You know, some of these Pop-Tarts are pretty brittle and hard, and other ones are really soft. This one is really soft, and I actually really like that. It's got a really nice rich fudge flavor, and the frosting isn't too harsh and doesn't break off into little shards that stab you in the roof of your mouth. So that's always nice. This one is gonna be a solid A tier. Next up, we've got our classic cookies and cream flavor. They have been selling this one for quite a while. I've actually got 2 of these left. All right, decent crust except for on the top. There's quite a lot there. Take a try of this crust. It's good. It's a different chocolate crust than that fudge flavor, but it's pretty good. A little darker and richer tasting. What I found is sometimes when you're eating multiple flavors of Pop-Tarts, you can get a certain pairing with this. If you eat one flavor before this and then you eat this, it tastes like gunpowder. It's a very weird pairing, but the fudge complemented this one pretty well. You try this filling portion. It's pretty good. I think that crust combining with the filling creates that kind of weird gunpowdery taste, but It's not too bad. The filling itself is really nice, kind of resembles Oreos. Overall, not a bad Pop-Tart. Certainly not the best though. For now, we are gonna pop this one straight into C tier. I will take a quick minute to say that I am sorry if I've offended anyone with my rating so far. We'll continue to go through these flavors, and my tier list is actually public, so you can make your own if you really want. Next up, we've got Strawberry Milkshake, which is a newer flavor. They've been selling it for a little while, but not too long. It's certainly not an OG flavor, that's for sure. It's got pretty decent crust. The frosted area is pretty small though. There's no frosting on the top. There is on the bottom though, that's nice. Try some of this crust. Oh yeah, original crust, and you definitely get a good hint of this filling. And some of the filling. It's kind of hard to describe. It's kind of like the vodka that the girls would drink back when you were in high school at a party. You know, those super weird Smirnoff flavors. It gives me the ick a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna continue with this at all. This one is not good, but not nearly as bad as anything unfrosted, so we're gonna go into D tier right now. All right, now we've got the wild berry flavor. Now this isn't exactly a newer flavor, but it's not an older flavor either. It's kind of in between. All right, on this one, we've got a whole lot of crust on one side, not a lot of frosting on either end. Yeah, with that crust, you just don't get a good hint of that filling, and I really don't like that. Without that, it's just plain crust, and it kind of resembles cardboard a little bit. But the filling's a different story. Yeah, it's nice. Nice and fruity, nice and Pop-Tarty. Feels pretty classic, but it definitely loses points on the crust for sure. We're gonna pop this one right into C tier. Next, we've got raspberry, one of the classic fruity flavors. You just can't go wrong with a classic. Pretty decent crust, pretty large area of filling and frosting. I really like that. I wish there was some frosting on the top here, but there is on the bottom. Anything to make the crust taste a little better. Yeah, you get a nice little hint of that raspberry in the crust. Solid crust. Filling's really good, nice and fruity. It takes me back. For sure, this is one of the more classic flavors. It definitely takes me back. This one's up there. It's gotta be A tier for now. Next up, we've got Confetti Cupcake, which is one of the newer flavors. Now that is just terrible. Lacking frosting all over the place. There's so much crust. There's so little area of filling. Presentation is just a 0 out of 10 on this one. We'll see if it brings it back with the crust. Nope. Definitely not. Just plain crust. Not even a hint of the filling. Filling and frosting. Now, I'm personally not a fan of this one, but I do have to award it points because it really does taste like confetti cupcake. You've got a really nice cupcake flavor. There's a sprinkle flavor there. There are some round sprinkles on the top. It's just not what I really want in a Pop-Tart. So not the worst, but certainly not the best. I'm gonna pop this one right into C tier. Alrighty, now we've got Boston Cream Donut. This is one that I have never heard of before this video. So very little frosting, very little filling, huge crust, definitely losing points there. It is really brittle. It's just kind of breaking apart. It's not very soft at all. I'm gonna snap my teeth in half on this. Yeah, the crust isn't flavorless, but you're getting really weird hints of like a lemony type thing. It's very much not Boston cream. It's just a very artificial flavoring taste. It's not very good. We'll see if the filling redeems it. It honestly doesn't taste any different than the crust. It's very bland. It's got that weird lemony hint to it. I really don't like it. This one, honestly, presentation and it tastes disgusting. It's gonna go into F tier. Coming in hot, we've got Frosted Hot Fudge Sundae. Chocolate crust, smells pretty good. The frosting's all sorts of messed up on this. It's off to one side and it's got a huge crust on this side. Appearance doesn't matter too much if it tastes good, especially with a Pop-Tart. It's not like we're fine dining here. Good chocolate crust, way better than the plain vanilla crust or whatever that is. No hints of the actual filling though, so it's actually pretty bland, but better than the plain crust. Try this filling. It's pretty generic. I would say it's just not very special. It just tastes like Pop-Tart. It doesn't taste like its own flavor. It kind of tastes like a mesh between all of the other flavors. It's very odd. It's not bad, but it's just very generic. It's got to have a very average ranking here. This one we're gonna pop right into C tier. Now we've got another classic. We've got strawberry. They've been selling this flavor forever. A total staple while in school or when I used to work construction and had to be on site at 7 in the morning and I would wake up at 6:50 and run to the gas station and grab something like this. Perfect. It's very useful. Uh-oh, I broke it. It's actually pretty flimsy, but good presentation. It's nice and uniform. There's a decent amount of crust, but there's some filling kind of in with the crust, which is nice. Good amount of filling and frosting. Try this crust. There's a good hint of strawberry with it. It's nice and soft too. Not a bad crust. The filling, nice and fruity, classic, brings back a lot of memories, good memories and bad memories. Not a bad Pop-Tart at all. Certainly a classic. This one, because it's so iconic and such an established flavor, it's got to go into A tier. Certainly isn't S tier worthy, but it's a very good Pop-Tart. Next up, we've got cherry, actually another favorite of mine to grab at the gas station 10 minutes before I had to show up to work. It's got a nice mix of softness, but rigidity at the same time. It's not falling apart in my hands, kind of like the strawberry one. It's very uniform, good ratio between filling and crust. Not a bad looking Pop-Tart. Nice hints of that cherry flavor in that crust. Check out this frosting real quick. How's it going? What? Delicious. Nice and sweet, nice and fruity. Hits all the right notes. Perfect thing to wake you up in the morning, get you ready for that dreadful 16-hour day at the work site. This one's iconic. I've got to put cherry in S tier. Fantastic Pop-Tart. Now we've got nothing to mess with. The legendary brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart, heavyweight champion year after year. Look at that beast. Just a beautiful looking Pop-Tart. Perfect presentation, frosting on the top and the bottom. Not too much crust. Filling a little bit infiltrated in the crust to give you that hint. Good crust. Nice amount of hint of that brown sugar cinnamon. This flavor is a little hard naturally, so I do like to warm it up in the microwave. Beautiful filling. Nails the sweetness, nails the amount of cinnamon. Just a good Pop-Tart overall. And this one you've got to already know, but it goes straight into S tier. It is the legend. No one can dethrone this guy, and I'm happy to fight all of you about it. Alrighty, getting back to the fruit flavors, we've got blueberry. Another good classic. For sure, they've been selling this for a long time. Yeah, you can tell the difference right away between the old and the new Pop-Tarts, because these original ones are just so much better appearance-wise. They're so much more uniform and just established. Good hints of blueberry in that crust. Blueberry's nice and powerful, so you don't need too much. Yeah, that's a good feeling. Generally, I don't like plain blueberries, but I do really enjoy these blueberry Pop-Tarts. Nice and classic, decently iconic. It's gotta be an A tier. Original fruity Pop-Tarts are murdering everybody else at this point. Second to last, we've got s'mores. This is another one that's kind of right in the middle. It's not too old, but it's not new either. They've been selling it for quite a while. Decent presentation, not the best. This one's got a different crust, which I really like. It mixes it up. Yeah, pretty good crust. It definitely resembles a graham cracker, which I assume was the goal. You definitely get a hint of that s'more flavor, and it is a true s'more type flavor. It doesn't taste too artificial. Try the filling. Filling's really good. Nice mix of marshmallow and rich chocolate. It does really resemble a s'more. It is a very good Pop-Tart. I'm struggling with this one a little bit, but I think we're gonna go into B tier for now. Last but not least, well, maybe not least, is our Eggo flavor. This one must be a newer one because I have never heard of this one before. We've got a different type of crust, and the presentation looks pretty awful, to be honest with you. It looks like it's covered in mustard, dried mustard. It looks very unappetizing. It's got a yellow crust. There's not a lot of yellow foods that are that appetizing. Try some of this crust, I guess. Yeah, you can tell it's different than the other crusts, but it is very bland, and I'm not getting a hint of whatever's in the filling. It is just about what you'd expect if you mixed an Eggo with a Pop-Tart. It's pretty much exactly what you'd expect, and it's not very good. Those two things probably shouldn't be going together. And this presentation is the worst out of any of them. It just looks so unappetizing. Like I said, just dried mustard drizzled on here. It's a no-go. For sure. It's not absolutely terrible tasting, and that is the only reason why we're gonna go into D tier. There's a huge mess in here that you can't see. I can't wait to clean it up. So that was every flavor of Pop-Tart that you can buy in 2024 ranked. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of my rankings. Do you disagree with me? Do you agree? Do you wanna hunt me down? Do you wanna be friends? Feel free to put anything down there, with some exceptions. Keep it PG, please. And that's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video through the end. I know all 8 or 9 of you have been thoroughly entertained. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to drop a like. And if you like travel and food content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We've got some exciting high-budget travel content coming up in just a few months, and I can't wait to show you guys. With that, we'll see you guys next time.